Good morning, MSC Armonía. This morning we find ourselves at the Surf and Turf restaurant located on deck 6 aft. Once you pass the Bacardi rum bar and the photo gallery, you make a quick right and you'll find our Surf and Turf restaurant with the best of land and sea. This morning, friends, we're going to be having a conversation with our food and beverage director, Anaita, and fingers crossed, I really hope we can get on the show, our executive chef, Anthony Tony Wilson. That and much more right here on Good Morning, MSC Armonía after this short commercial break. We're back. Good morning, MSC Armonía. This morning I find myself at a specialty restaurant on board called Surf and Turf. You will find the Surf and Turf restaurant on deck 6 aft. How do I get there? Once you pass the Bacardi rum bar, you pass the photo gallery, you will find the Surf and Turf restaurant. And this morning, we're lucky enough to have with us Anaita, our food and beverage director. Good morning, Anaita. How are you?
Good morning, Miguel. I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good. How's everything? Good?
Superb.
Tell us a little bit about your role on board the MSC Armonía as food and beverage director.
Okay, so basically as food and beverage director, I have a fantastic team who I work with. The maitre d', the executive chef, and the bar manager, and through them we run the entire food and beverage operation. So those are all the restaurants, all the bars, and any other food and beverage service that you would experience around the ship.
So anything that has to do with food and beverage, you are the person at the helm of this operation. Now, on board the MSC Armonía, we have something very special. It is our Surf and Turf restaurant. We find ourselves here this morning. What can our guests expect when they come to the Surf and Turf?
Surf and Turf is one of our most elevated dining experiences where the guests can come to celebrate any special occasions. And of course, when they come, they will experience a menu specially designed by our chef Enrique, who's in charge of all our menus for the Armonía. And what he's done is he's incorporated a bit of the land and the sea, and that way you will experience Surf and Turf.
Now, when you don't have that uniform and those stripes come off, what do you like to do in those breaks that we have to go ashore?
When I'm on board, I like to go out to the beach. I like to explore the local culture, try the local food, because I want to see what the tastes are there. And sometimes it's great because you can give some recommendations to the guests. And sometimes in your interactions with them, you can even tell the guests that some of the local fare is actually what we serve on board, so they can taste their islands right here on the cruise ship.
Folks, the dining on board the MSC Armonía is already fantastic in our main dining rooms, but if you can, do not miss the opportunity to book a lovely evening right here at the Surf and Turf. The menu, like Anaita was saying, is amazing. I had the privilege to meet Chef Enrique. I can't wait to see him so we can get him on camera one day. But you're going to be meeting our executive chef from the United Kingdom, Chef Tony. Now, Chef Tony, you're responsible for the entire food and beverage operation, and Chef Tony runs the entire galley. Chef is going to be here. He's very busy. I'm going to go pull him out of the galley so he can come here and speak to all of you.
That would be
to
great.
Tell us about some of the food that we will be seeing. I'm a little bit hungry, and I hope Chef is making something wonderful. Friends, we'll be right back after this short commercial break. What a treat, and how lucky are we to have this morning on our show our executive chef, Anthony Tony Wilson from the UK. Good morning, chef.
Good morning, Miguel. How are you?
How are you? Thank you so much
Fantastic,
for giving us some of your time. We know you're so busy.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. Chef, tell us, what is your role as executive chef on board the MSC Armonía?
To ensure that we produce top-level food safely, to make sure the guests have a culinary journey that they'll never forget.
We're going to have in a few seconds some wonderful dishes that the chef prepares right here for our Surf and Turf restaurant. But before we do that, now that I have you here, everybody wants to know. I'll ask you the same question I asked the food and beverage director. Where did the journey start for Chef Tony?
The journey started when I was about 14. My mother has terrible tasting clothes, like most mothers. And she said if I wanted to pick my own clothes, then I had to earn my own money. So I started washing pots at a weekend, on summer holidays, etc. And after about 6 or 7 months, I started doing the appetizers. Then by the time I'd left school at 16, I was already doing main courses, pasta, pizza, etc. Small Italian restaurant, but it gave me a taste and a flavor. From there, I went to Paris for 3.5 years, did an apprenticeship. Went to the culinary school in Paris as well. Came back to London, worked for the Roux brothers for nearly 2 years, and decided I didn't like the weather in England, so left again. And ended up in Switzerland for 8.5, 9 years. Worked there with a 2 Michelin star restaurant, which is Hirsch am See in Zurich. Fantastic place, and just fueled my desire for more. And then I went back to the UK for a while, went out to Spain, opened my own restaurant for a couple of years. Unfortunately, due to health problems, I gave it up. And went back to London. I was visiting a friend who still worked for the Michel Roux, and Michel said, I know you, and I said, I should hope so. I worked for you for 2 years. So after that he said, okay, I'm working with a certain cruise line. I'd like you to come on board as an executive sous chef. What do you think? And I'd always wanted to work on the cruises. I'd heard so much about the culinary deliverance that they have, the equipment they have on board, and just the lifestyle. I came for 4 months, and 20 years later, I'm still here.
Here you are.
Indeed.
Chef, what are the things that you still enjoy about your role? What are the things that you say, Miguel, I wake up in the morning and I love this about my role?
I love to, now my goals and desires have changed. Now I want to train the next generation of executive chefs. We have a fantastic team on board. They deliver great food. But what we lack is the teaching of management skills. Most people can be trained to cook, but it's that next level we need to take people, because I'm coming another 15 years, I'm going to retire. My one fear is that we're not going to have the next generation ready for that. And as the cruise industry expands, we know we're getting bigger and bigger ships.
Very fast.
And
fast. We're growing
less
bigger
and less
and
skill
fast.
out there to take from other companies, unfortunately. So yeah, I would say my forte now is ensuring that the galley is set correctly, that the people are all trained correctly, whether it's washing pots, whether it's cooking dinner, or whether it's managing that team to ensure that everything runs as smoothly as possible.
That is so wonderful, Chef, and I'm so grateful for the time that you have given us this morning. Folks, we're going to go to a very short commercial break. Chef is going to the galley, and he's going to bring what my favorite dishes are right here at the Surf and Turf restaurant. We'll be right back. just like that, folks, thanks to our executive chef, I have here what my favorite items on the menu are, which are, I'd like to start with the crab cake. Chef, tell us a little bit about the crab cake.
The crab cake is a delicate crab cake. Obviously, it's made with 2 types of crab. Then we have shallots, fresh herbs, a little bit of spice in there. And then it's set on crispy onions with a crab and lobster sauce. On top, you have micro herbs. And then we have, I don't know whether you can see them, but we actually have olive oil pearls.
It's really unbelievable. Then from the crab cake, I go to the main course. Friends, if you love lobster and you do not have the lobster thermidor, trust me, you're missing out. What's in this thing?
The lobster thermidor obviously is a lobster. And then what we do, we take out the lobster, we take the onions, the shallots, the mushrooms and the lobster, saute together, deglass the pan with a little bit of cognac and a little bit of white wine. Then we put some cream in, reduce it down, a little bit of parmesan, a little bit of mustard, bind it all together. Obviously we're tasting all the time to make sure it's not too sharp, not too salty. Then we fill the lobster shell again under the salamander with parmesan just to gratinate, and then serve with a potato and some fresh herbs.
It's unbelievable. And once I'm done with my main course, my favorite dessert. And the reason it's my favorite dessert, chef, is because I have so many memories when I was a young boy. The red velvet cake.
Very, very nice. Very popular with most of the guests. But obviously no calories until you leave the ship. So the red velvet is a red sponge served with buttercream. And to be honest with you, it's one of my favorite desserts as well.
It's really unbelievable. I was actually privileged enough to take a sneak peek behind the galley where all of these wonderful meals are prepared. And friends, if you want to go to the galleys, I want you to take advantage of something we have on board.
Yes.
It's called the Behind the Scenes Tour. Now, the Behind the Scenes Tour is a limited number of guests. Out of 2,000 plus guests that we can have on any given week, between 20 to 25 is the only number that is allowed to do a behind-the-scenes tour where we take you to the galley. So if you want to see where this amazing food is prepared, make sure that you go to the Shore Excursions desk on deck number 5 and book your behind-the-scenes tour. Chef, I am truly so grateful, number one, to you, to our food and beverage director. I know you're so busy. Thank you for waking up so early to be here with us for the morning show. I know you're on your way to go get breakfast, lunch, and dinner ready for our guests. It has been really a privilege. It's time to cut this morning show short because you better believe it, this is not going to go to waste. The chef is going back to the galley and I'm going to take care of what's on this table. Friends, don't forget that the Surf and Turf restaurant is located on deck number 6 aft. Please take one evening and book an amazing dining experience. I promise you, you will not forget it. And who knows, maybe you'll see me here at the Surf and Turf. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode of Good Morning MSC Armonía.